Letting go is so hard, just creatively. We've had so many ideas that we thought were going to be one kind of story and ended up being a totally different product. Books that we wanted to be movies, movies that we wanted to be plays, plays that we wanted to be poetry.
And it never stops being painful. Our third book, Dedication, we were determined it was going to be a movie starring Katherine Heigl. Not just a movie, but a movie starring Katherine Heigl. There was a little bit of stalking involved, needless to say. Thankfully, we didn't get arrested, but the project didn't come together. And it became a musical, which is something we never could have imagined in a million years was going to happen. It's turned out to be the most fun thing we've ever done.
Ever. So let go.
Let go. Something is going to show up the second you do.
With a soundtrack. We are here today with the awesome Patty Powers, who is a recovery coach and a writer and an all-around cool chick. And I know that Brené Brown says that being cool is the absolute antithesis of vulnerability and being spiritually centered, but I think Patty's the whole package. I really do. So Patty, your journey to building a career and business as a recovery coach has been sort of had twists and turns. And I think we really associate determination with keeping your eye on the prize and going for just one thing and holding on tight to the whipping dragon. But we've been talking that in fact, sometimes that's about the absolute opposite of letting go and surrendering.
Right, well I ended up doing this by letting go. I never really thought of this as a career. It was something people would ask me if I was available to do it because they'd heard I'd worked with someone else. Then when it would be over, I'd go back to writing and doing my thing and think, well, I wonder if I'll ever do that again. But it just kept reappearing. And there was a time where I thought, oh, this must be what the universe wants for me. And then nothing came in. And I thought, oh, well, I wouldn't even know how to look for clients. I have no idea. The work itself, it was sort of a renegade underground type of existence. And then when I was totally ready to let it go and do something else, A&E called me to do the series.
What do you call upon in yourself at those moments before you get the call? When you're thinking, wait a second, I thought I was getting a message from the universe that there was a plan and a vision here, and God, you told me and this was happening, and now it's not. What do you do before you get that validation?
Well, you know, it's so funny because I always considered myself more of an atheist, but I keep having so many experiences, it's sort of making me come to believe in something.
Right.
Yeah, like it's, I've had so many times where surrender is just a repeated thing. Like there isn't one surrender. You know, I mean, I surrendered drugs and a whole lifestyle that I was pretty attached to in terms of like my image of myself and the idea of like this underground, queen of the underground kind of fantasy of myself I had as a teenager. And I was willing to let go of that to get clean, and I didn't know what was going to be on the other side. And I remember the worst thing at 28 that I could think of that I would turn into if I got clean was a yuppie. Like that was the worst. Like a lot of people, that would be like their aspiration to have this, you know, upward. But I came from a whole different scene. I thought, if I have to turn into a yuppie, so be it. I don't care. I just can't live like this.
When you were writing, you were working on a show, it seemed like all systems go, this is where it's going. Then suddenly it wasn't. You were presented with lots of obstacles. And you had to really let go. You've talked about that moment. Could you share that a bit with us?
For me, the first time had to be out of desperation. Everyone has a moment where they had to let go of something. You know, so if you can look back to see what that moment was, and usually it's after a lot of pain. You know, like pain is actually a wonderful thing because that's what allows growth, right? That's what really allows personal growth and transformation. It doesn't come out of joy. No. It comes out of pain. But when we're in pain, we forget that. So we never embrace painful situations like they're a good thing that's going to transition us along the river to something new. We think, how do I get rid of the pain? How do I control it? Well, maybe if I control everything outside of me, which is the square peg round hole, but I never saw it that way. I just thought my intentions were good. They were, you know, to help people. They were to, you know, live an ethical life. So why isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening? Push, push. Why isn't, until you're just so stuck. But now I'm seeing that it doesn't matter what my intentions are. It's like, if I'm fearful, I'm going to get controlling. So it's recognizing when I'm fearful and just trusting that things are going to be okay, and letting go of some of that control that makes the transition easier.
Well, let me ask you about advice for our viewers. We get asked this a lot, and how does one let go?
Look back at the last time something difficult was happening in your life where you couldn't see what was going to come next. Like, go to the worst thing that ever happened to you and try to remember, what did that feel like and what happened after? What was the path? Because usually there's some grace after. Right? So, like, if everybody goes back to that moment of their most painful experience and then look at their life 6 months or a year later where it ended up, that'll give you the faith to let go right now while you're in the pain.
Patty, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your wisdom with us. Where can folks find out more and hear more of your brilliance?
Well, I have a website called pattypowersnyc.com.
Patty with a Y.
Patty with a Y.
Great.
And there's a blog on there, and there's video clips and different personal stories.
And your blog really covers the spectrum, right?
Anything from how to enjoy stand-up comedy to how to survive your first 30 days off heroin.
Okay. Every box you cover.
Everything's in it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.